Welcome back, everybody. Today, as you can see, we're going to be testing Guard Captain Krau, and just to give you a bit of a spoiler from my preliminary testing, at least in Arena, this character looks really powerful. Now, to kind of break down his kit real fast and quick, as you see right now, we have him on somewhat of a similar build to that of what you'd expect on someone like Karina, and as you can see right now, he does have a lot of defense. He doesn't have much crit, which is fine if I'm not mistaken. This is something that doesn't really matter too much because, of course, with this S3 specifically, it cannot trigger a critical hit, and because of it, we're just going to penetrate defense. We're going to do a bunch of damage, and honestly, even in terms of what artifact we're using, I don't actually think that this is an artifact that we need. This was something that I know people are going to ask. However, I actually think that despite there being additional defense on this, 77 flat defense as opposed to using something like Karina's artifact, or well, you can't use Karina's artifact, but as opposed to using something more impactful like a Karina's artifact would be better. I am a bit torn at the moment though in terms of what I would use otherwise. Maybe I would use something like Portrait. I'm gonna just keep him on his artifact for right now, but since he's not a knight, it is a bit unfortunate. There's a chance that we end up using something like Snow Crystal or something else in the future. However, honestly, because I've been using Krau currently, at least in Arena, as somewhat of an auto character, I feel like there may be a better usage or a better artifact here for him. Maybe something like Sweet Miracle, just to give him a bit more bulk. But until then, the 77 flat defense will have to do. And without further ado, let's break down his set. Now, I will say that as of right now, there are a lot of different builds that are floating around and can be tested, but given again the way that his kit sounds, it does sound like you want to have a bit of effect resistance. You don't want to get CC'd, or you don't want to get debilitated too much by random or by other knights. It is a different case, of course, if someone ends up taking a someone to reset you or to crowd control you in whatever way, whether that's through sleep, stun, etc. But just for a more casual effect resistance, having a little bit just so that you don't die, or having enough that if you end up taking a character that has an imprint with effect resistance, this will be your character, or this will be the stat line that you'll want to kind of hover around so that you don't get debuffed. Now, okay, that said, again, in terms of the set, because of this, I am running speed and defense. I could definitely imagine or see someone using triple set, using something like immunity instead of defense instead. But when you see how much damage this character does, I think it'll give you a better idea of exactly why I have the stat line that I have. And with that, let's actually break down and take a look at him specifically in Arena, which is where I've been using him the most. Now, to be clear, I have had 13 consecutive wins, and basically this is exactly where I've been using him. Like, I've been using him across a couple different teams, mostly Mort teams, which is fine, but a bunch of Harseti. He's kind of like, he's not even technically Harseti slow tuned, despite what he has. And more than anything else, I've just been using him against any team that I can find, with a DPS or with the need for tankiness included. Now, unfortunately, or as a result of this, I have been only testing really this team composition that you're seeing on screen right now. And although some of these are some of the more common limited characters, or common ML5 or limited characters, as most people in the game have Flan or pulled for Flan, it does of course include 2 ML5s and a limited character in order to make work. But just to kind of prove my point, normally whenever I do showcases for other characters, there's usually a struggle, at least when it comes to certain teams, where my team just gets one shot or blown up. However, that actually isn't the case, and again, just from auto quick matching, these are all very quick and, well, easy wins. It didn't feel like Roz was running for too long here in this little screen. I guess this one's a bit of an exception, but as you can see here, and by the way, he's not level 5, I just have him in the Grace of Growth, just in case you're wondering. This was a victory. Now again, normally, or in most cases, when I do showcases for characters like this, there's at least one or a few of the matches where the showcased character ends up failing, but I actually haven't been able to find that at all. As you can see as well, I'm also taking Flan literally into Sea Phantom Politis, so that means she has less stacks, and that's obviously a product of Krau and his, you know, his provision or his damage too. So let's actually take a quick gander at what it is that we encounter whenever we fight a team. Now, okay, we're not going to use auto, or we're not going to use you know, manual for this case. I just kind of want to show you guys what exactly is happening, as I've also observed it. No matter essentially what happens in these fights, Krau just ends up using his S3, giving himself vigor and one-shotting pretty much half of the, or pretty much like one-shotting the entire team. This is likely going to be a little bit different, of course, just because of the way that okay, I was gonna say it's gonna be a little bit different, very likely, just because of the way that things are tuned. But oh, that is not good. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. This is my okay, all right, not a good start. Okay, I'm willing to. Okay, you guys saw the match history. All right, okay, maybe having the Payra and the Sea Phantom Politis, not a great combo. Okay, but let's try it into another team. This is another team that I was thinking would be maybe a bit more unsafe for Krau specifically, just because again there is the defense, or well, you have Ilanov, who reduces how much his skill 3 will do, but beyond all these things, of course, there is also the chance for Harsetti to kind of speed tune things in a way that Krau loses his first turn, and that could be concerning. But oh, actually, we're gonna have Ilanov push up. Okay, we're not gonna manual or anything like that. Of course, manual play, especially in AI, is very powerful, and you could definitely get around or win most matches. But it is a bit of an indicator if a character is so strong that you don't need to use your manual whatsoever, because at least from what I can tell, that usually means that the character is quite powerful just because they're strong enough to win on auto, essentially. But let's see if I strip this real quick. Oh wait, oh, I just said I wouldn't be on auto or I wouldn't be on manual. Okay, guilty as charged. Okay, guilty as charged. All right, we're just gonna let it go, and we're gonna see what happens here. Ilanov giving us our S3. Okay. This should do okay. From what I saw, again, having the attack increase, having the vigor buff, this does end up dealing like a pretty respectable amount of damage. Okay, a little bit less obviously because we have the defense penetration resistance. That's fine. The Bloodblade Karen is gone. We do have the S2 here, which does stun. It is ignore ER as well, of course. And I think that's also probably one of the major upsides of this character as well. Not only do you have a horse or a big nuke that you have pretty consistently, if I'm not mistaken, with this character, you do offer a guaranteed stun on one character, assuming that they don't have immunity or they don't reapply immunity through some means. Also acts, of course, as a enabler for Flan, which is cool. And more than anything else, I think having that first turn of, like, I guess having that very impactful first turn, I think is quite impactful, or is quite valuable too, where like after you use your S3, you get like 50% CR and you can, you know, stun someone immediately following this. For, you know, as you saw there as well, that's 7,200 damage to Senya of all characters as well. And of course, like with the vigor that we'll have here, this I believe should put us in range for, yep, exactly. It puts us back in range for, or puts us back into proper rotation for his S2 to come back up. Now, again, from what you're seeing, or as you're seeing right now, this is a character that honestly has a lot of utility. His kit initially didn't seem like it would be nearly as crazy as it sounded, but just because of how much cycling and how much damage is going out, this feels very powerful, or very powerful for a character. If we go take this into another team, this is a Hwayoung team. Again, I'm curious how he fares with just basically a load of big AoEs on the field. Okay. 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 All right, we needed the sacrifice on Ilanov anyways. That's fine. That's fine. No damage from our Krau. Okay, Elbrus. I do want to make note of the fact that in a lot of cases, I do want to say that in most cases when I have played, when I do play Arena, autoing into the ML Hwayoung teams is usually more difficult than some of the others. That's just usually because of the way that Hwayoung's kit works, and of course, like with all the autoing, Hwayoung is kind of designed, it feels, to counter that sort of playstyle. But even as you're seeing right there, guys, that really didn't do that much damage at all to Krau. That only did roughly what, like 6,000 or so. Okay, that's fine. Speed here does feel like it'll be an issue. That's okay though. Oh, actually, I resisted. That's pretty good. Okay. Ooh, my Flan is hurt. We do have Bloodstone, though, so it will heal him. Oh, I wonder, does this go into Flan or does this go into Krau now that he's healed? Okay. Okay. This is about to be expected. Now, of course, if you're not doing auto, I think this is a character that'll likely be very powerful. It is, in my opinion, still interesting to see how he does in terms of damage and how or what you can expect from autoing. With that, I'm going to do a couple more autos just to see exactly what to expect. I think, again, the outcome is going to remain the same, which is that I think he is going to result in a lot of wins, as you're seeing right now. But for one game, I do want to show just how powerful it feels like his abilities are. We're seeing two of the exact same team here, by the way. That's kind of funny. Again, this is a team that has the Para on it, so there is going to be evasion, which will make things a little bit more annoying. But that is kind of where it feels like characters that have defense penetration and no crit or don't rely on crits are powerful. But oh my gosh, that did a lot of damage. Sweet mama. Goodbye, Ilanov. I think you are dead. Yeah. Okay. Even if I wanted to manual this, oh my goodness. Ow. Okay. Okay, it's fine. Wow, my Flan is just gone. Ow. That was crazy. That was a crazy amount of damage. Oh my goodness. Okay, I mean, I'm pretty obviously dead here. However, I am curious just for how much damage a Soulburn will do. First match is a dud. That's okay. I'm just gonna, I think this pair of characters is a little bit too powerful for the composition that I have here, but I am curious about how much damage I could do maybe with the Soulburn into the Para. That's honestly not bad. I mean, I killed a Para through evasion. Again, I am dead. I am dead. Make no mistake, I did lose here. However, that Soulburn damage is pretty crazy, especially since his artifact, you know, as far as I could tell, feels very powerful on him specifically, and he doesn't really have a perfect option amongst the warrior artifacts anyway. That said, we can also I am down to try this on another team like this. Again, in terms of team compositions, of course, I could use a young Senya Mort team. Of course, I could try and use something with like a Katie's. But what would the fun in that be? Okay, we're getting pushed back. All right. The good thing about Krau too is that really Krau doesn't need. Okay, we should probably just S1 here. Okay. This is perfect. All we needed to do was just pass our first turn. We got unbuffable. That's unfortunate. It would be nice if we could have had the mediator Krau take a turn. That's all right though. Oh my gosh, there are like 11 turns being had here. We're going to use Ilanov S3. This is basically auto gameplay anyways, to be honest. Even if I end up manualing with some of these characters, like if you take a look at this, Krau was gonna, Ilanov was gonna press her S3. Krau was gonna press his S3. Okay, but now here's the part that I think is quite impactful. So again, from here, we have our S3. We don't soul burn, but if you just take a look at the damage here, this is a vigor and attack increase Krau S3. That's 6,700 damage to a Flan. That's a 100% evasion character, by the way. It would be nice if I had some it would be nice, by the way, if my Flan had some stacks, but of course we took her into the Flan, so it is what it is. Okay, healing up. Okay, it's on lifesteal. That's all right. That's gone. All right, I am curious about how much damage this S2 will deal. I don't think this is nearly as impactful as it sounds, though. Yep, only 4,000. That's fine, though. This is okay. I'm trying to, I'm thinking more and more about it. Honestly, like, to have a character in this day and age that does so well against evasion characters, I think is quite impactful. 2,100 damage, not that big a deal. Ooh, is this going to be used on... Oh my god, does she have stacks? She does not. Oh gosh. Ooh, if we're slowed, I think I am cooked here, actually. Maybe I should have killed Flaunt, or I should have killed the ML Politis. Okay, I mean, I get 50% CR here. There's a chance that I cut. It does heal me a little bit as well. Oh, wait, that was her last stack. Oh, Krau clutch. Sounds good to me. All right. Okay, now assuming I don't get, defense broken on like an S1 from like some random artifact or whatever, we're chilling. And bop. Perfect. I mean, it is about what you'd expect when it comes to Krau, though. He's got a strong S3. It feels very reminiscent of Last Rider Krau, or of the Krau variations. He does feel kind of like Last Rider Krau. I do have a feeling that if I just ran an AoE team, that he would probably full send this. Double Krau seems a little bit goofy too. Right? It's just a bunch of AoE, right? Surely this... Right? So, at least from what you can tell, I literally hit champion 1. At least from what you guys can see from Krau, this is a character that feels a bit, I don't want to say overtuned. He just seems very strong and powerful. Now, again, there are certain teams that make this feel Maybe a little bit worse. I'm looking at you, Hua Young. I do think that Hua Young is quite powerful too. I'm gonna try and put my own in here for the sake of this match and see if something changes. But overall, guys, I mean, just from arena alone, okay, this is just impossible. Hua Young is for autoing purposes, Hua Young is just too strong. But I'm sure if I, like, again, if I decide to take someone like Krau here, or if I end up taking someone like Senya here, this is a character that just has so much, it feels like so much utility, so much damage. He gives himself vigor. He kind of like explodes on the enemy team. Just with how many AoEs you can have in epicseven as well currently, just having that level of tune or that level of speed, that amount of damage, while also being able to stun on his S2 and push someone, you know, it's just, it is quite crazy. But I am going to do one final RTA match just to see how it feels to play with him currently. Haven't done my placements yet, sorry. Got champ last season and kind of clocked out, but I do think that that is going to be a character that feels quite strong and impactful. Again, at least from our preliminary testing, his damage was pretty impressive. It didn't look like he took too much damage either. Also a really good sign. Oh, just gonna ban Bellion. That's all right. I can even play Harsetti with him, to be honest. Oh, nice. Okay, no Harsetti. Okay. Let me start with New Moon Luna. I think New Moon Luna is quite powerful too. Fallen Cecilia. Interesting. Interesting. I'm going to take Tori, and then I'm going to take Fire Krau here. I have a feeling, honestly, that Blue Krau is going to be strong here as well. Just having a knight in general. Oh, gosh, I forgot about Litica. Ooh. Fire Litica, huh? Maybe we don't use Krau. Maybe we take Designer Lilibit. And we kind of need a cleanser, don't we? Maybe Laya? Okay. This looks pretty good. I have my cleansers. I have my anti-debuffers. Well, I basically took 2 cleansers into the Litica. Litica does look really strong, though, to be honest. Gonna ban this. I think he has to ban New Moon. Oh, really? What the? Okay. I mean, that's fine, I guess. I think he's just gonna get... I think he's just gonna get unbuffable, though. Alright. Okay. No one has a cleanse on his team, so... okay. If I'm not mistaken, he still pushes back a little bit. Yeah, resource reduction. Bind and restrict. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was gonna S3 the Laya, which... Oh, resist. I think he's just gone now. That is unfortunate. However, I think this may just one-shot his whole team. Hua Young can't one-shot Tori, so, like, that's fine. Yeah, look at how much... I mean, obviously, that's, like, you know, it's dealing some damage to, like, some squishier characters, but, like, look at how much damage that just did. I mean, like, look at this. His whole team is, you know, obviously New Moon Luna is also playing like a big part of this, but like, look at how much damage that just dealt. Like, even to the Fallen Cecilia, right? And Krau's like literally right behind. Okay, we can. Oh, we didn't have Cascade. Okay, so it's actually good that we didn't use our Soul Burn. I mean, he's gonna dispel our buffs, but oh my god, wait, I just realized, wait. Oh, I forgot that she transfers back the debuffs to us. Okay, honestly, that doesn't even matter though, because we already have our buffs and such. Wow, wait, that is actually crazy. Okay, we can push back here though. Get away from me, get away from me. Okay, nice. Okay, this is a useless S1. Kill this maybe. We don't have Cascade, but whatever. It's okay. We can use the souls for this. That did feel like it was going to be scary. But I think the pacing and the tempo of this was just a little too much for him. Overall, I think, honestly, I mean, you kind of saw this was like Tori literally just used one ability at the very end. But like Krau essentially one-shot half the team. I do think that these characters, honestly, like the characters on his side also look pretty scary. Fallen Cecilia throwing back all the debuffs was actually something that I did not consider whatsoever. And I didn't think someone would pick Litica on 3 this early, but otherwise these are basically all the buffed characters. They do look pretty crazy, but as always, you do have to kind of, you know, there's like a floor that you kind of have to deal with before you can even enter into RTA or compete with the rest of the characters. In any case though, I do think that Krau's damage looks pretty decent. I mean, we saw him in Arena, we saw him in RTA, and overall, guys, you know, I did want to give a bit more structure to these videos because I do feel that sometimes I don't always express my thoughts enough on him. Overall, if you're looking to pull for a guard captain Krau, here's a couple things to consider. He's not limited, so that will affect whether or not, you know, it's worth it for you to pull for him. However, I do think that he looks very powerful. I mean, I don't think his damage is an issue. I think the fact that also, because he's built similar to Karina, it's not that easy to kill him. And although I do think that his artifact is actually very powerful on someone like Taeyu, I also think that it's quite good for him. And until we find something perhaps like, I don't know, maybe like a spare Sweet Miracle or maybe another defensive artifact, or until they decide to release a new artifact that pairs well with Guard Captain Krau, I think he's going to use his own. But otherwise, guys, if you're going to pull for him, feel free to do so. However, in terms of should you pull for him, basically just the fact that he's not a limited character at all may sway you to believe, or may sway you to find him less valuable to pull for, as you will be able to find him either through story summon, presumably, or through some other means, even if you don't end up pulling for him right now. Now, that said, I do think performance-wise, he's really crazy though, or it feels like he's very crazy and very impactful as a neutral DPS that has a lot of speed tuning or a lot of cycling while also having DPS and being tanky himself. In any case though, that's my first day reviews of, or my first day review of Guard Captain Krau. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you did, feel free to like, comment, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Wow, what a character, huh? Great update, epicseven. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Good night.